Hello everybody and welcome back to the SCSL Season 4 Round of 16. It's time for match number 7. Rush versus Tyson is about to kick off. We'll be taking a look at our maps and just getting a sense of what these guys are wanting to play on and what they aren't. We've got our bans. Rush banning Death Valley, and we've got Tyson banning Deja Vu. So of course Tyson picks Eclipse for that second map. Kind of surprising to see Rush ban Death Valley.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not super surprised. I think it's, a great map for recalls and other shenanigans. Certainly would be interesting to see some of these guys play on that map. But it seems almost inevitable that at least one of the players is going to ban this map almost no matter what, just because of how much of a wild card it is.
Yeah, for sure. It's we really haven't gotten much opportunity, Xun, to look at this map. I mean, in the ASL or the SCSL, it's a bit of a shame. I think maybe that's the reason why perhaps ASL likes to mix in more than one crazy map, because when we have these seasons where there's only one out there wild map, everybody bans it and we never get to see it. That's a bit unfortunate.
Yeah, and we got a few great games in ASL with Death Valley, especially the Arbiter games in PvZ and PvP, not just PvT. So that was some interesting stuff we got to see, some spectacles, but unfortunately we've not been seeing it a lot. We will be saying goodbye to this map soon as well with the new ASL map pool. But I mean, the new ASL map pool does have a lot of craziness and island maps and other anti-Zerg stuff. So you might still have some great maps to look forward to, but as it stands, it is what it is. We're going to be getting into a more normal map pool, it seems.
Yeah, we're going to jump into Polestar here for map number 1. Guys, Rush versus Tyson. Let's get it started. All right, cross-map situation at the beginning of this series. Let's talk a little bit about Tyson, because we all know Rush is an absolute killer. He's been performing really well in ASL lately, and we all expect him to go through, but Tyson has been a bit of a mess. He's been all over the place. He has shown some good results in KCM, but he's also thrown a lot of games from some very good positions. It's just, you have to give it to him. Like, he's good enough to get into these good positions, but it seems like he might be struggling with a bit of anxiety or something like that. I know the feeling when you're ahead in a game of Brood War and then you're like, oh gosh, now I have to close it, and you start to fall apart. It seems like Tyson has a bit more of that than other players, though.
Yeah, he's been a bit of a punching bag in his history as well. Like, all the way back in the 2007 drafts, like, he was basically picked just to be a practice partner, not even to be a strong Protoss contender for his team NPC game hero, literally just to be a punching bag for the other guys to get some practice against that Protoss matchup. And he hasn't had that much of an impressive showing in the past. Recently, he's had a little bit of punching power. He's certainly been knocking out a few players left and right in the KCM and what have you. He definitely has the ability to perform well when it comes time to it, but he seems to be still struggling in those offline events like ASL. Definitely still.
Again, might be a bit of nerves. Can all understand that. Performing in front of an audience rather than just performing at home. There's a huge difference between that. We talk about it a lot, but here we are in an online tournament, Xun. Maybe Tyson can show us something in an offline setting, or excuse me, an online setting, where he can be sat at home at his very comfortable desk and just performing his best. Would there be a chance he could take down Rush?
I think so. I mean, he's got cross map to start things off, but he's not going for Nexus first. And to be honest with you, this is a Terran favorite map by at least 5 percentile points or more. So most likely Rush will win this game, and that will set the tempo for the rest of the series. So I think his chances are slim, but I actually think it's not going to be as one-sided of a showing as some of these other games have been. We've seen a lot of 3-0s in this current bracket, and I don't think this is going to be a 3-0 at least.
Well, you might have just jinxed it there, Xun. Anyway, we're starting out with A Nexus here on the low ground. Kind of a in-between build what we're seeing out of Tyson. He's going to get this bit of harassment going in the main base. Try to get in here with the probe. Nice target on the probe, but takes a couple of punches from that Zealot. And he gets one of these Marines. Excellent. Can he get that other connection? Not quite able to. And there's no second Zealot coming here. So eventually this will be tracked down and killed. Oh! Barely not able to get that last punch, and Rush will clean this up.
Yeah, literally just got a single punch on that final Marine, only doing 8 damage. It's kind of interesting how Zealot's attacks work, because it's split up into 2 attacks. As quite often they actually don't get both punches off even. And that's a bit of a rough way to start the game for Tyson. The cross map gave a few extra precious seconds for Rush to make that defense a little bit more cleaner than it would usually be if it was closer distances. So yeah, this is definitely shaping up to be a bit of a rush-sided game. You can get away with not making this bunker for a little bit of time, and that's not what you want. You want this initial 14 Zealot to put on a lot of pressure and at least force a bunker as a follow-up out of reaction from the Terran player. So having that extra 100 minerals to work with, he's even going to throw down a Proxy starport for a very fast Vulture drop into the main base of Tyson, and if he hasn't got 2 Dragoons at least waiting for that, he could be in a lot of trouble.
This is interesting. Rush getting away with no bunker and then going for a bunch of Vultures. With this type of build, when you go for the proxied starport, you're going to be super light on tanks. So it stands to reason that you would have to build a bunker to make sure that you're safe behind this, but Rush is going to be able to get away with a lot unless Tyson finds this. He's searching around for it. He might see this SCV. Oh, wow, he doesn't see it. That's huge.
That's a shame.
Tyson not going to spot this. He could have absolutely shut this down if he was able to know, or if he was able to find out about it right here, right now, but he's going to have to hold this aggression, and Rush is very good in these type of situations.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is like the Terran dream right now. You make Vultures when you want to be aggressive and tanks when you're thinking more defensively. Generally speaking, there are exceptions to that if you're doing like a 3-tank push or something. In this case, he's going to be... Oh, he's actually denying this. Okay, he's coming back around. For a second, I thought that probe was going to get away with setting up an expansion still, but Rush does eventually turn around and kill that probe. And I mean, this is a great play from Rush. Like, being able to invest in nothing but Vultures and tech early on, that's like the Terran absolute dream situation. It's non-stop aggression from here on out, and we got a 2-base Arbiter play most likely coming out from Tyson with this fast Citadel, and that's just not going to be good enough to stop this pressure. Like, he's got all of his Dragoons in his natural, he's cutting a little bit of unit production even. The Observer's going to give him a little bit of extra time to react to this, so Dragoons actually can cycle down to defend against this. It's actually a great read from Tyson to intercept, and with the Sim City, might avoid total disaster. Rush can rotate around these gateways though and get into the main mineral line and still do a lot of probe damage to Tyson. He's lost about 3 or 4 probes thus far. Lost mining time as well. I would say this is actually a pretty good shutdown from Tyson. It's not, you know, the end of the world or anything. He only lost like 4 or 5 probes.
Yeah, not the worst hold in the world, that's for sure. Wasn't able to prevent this Vulture from coming into the natural as well, getting a little bit of damage, maybe 1 or 2 probes go down there, but the Sim City definitely helped him out a lot. The build has been completely revealed though for Tyson. He is completely mask off at this point. Rush knows exactly what's happening, and he hasn't taken any damage on his side of the map. He's thrown away a few Vultures, but that's after laying down mines. And he hasn't had to build any defenses back at home. He knows that now he doesn't need to defend against Reaver either. So a lot of things are lining up really nicely for Rush here. He's going to be able to skip over the eBay, go directly into Armory and Academy, and just start building tanks, sit in a defensive position here, and decide what he wants to do next.
Yeah, Tyson definitely not looking like a Squid Game soldier with a mysterious getup at the moment. So Rush has a full information on what's going to be the follow-up from him. And he still has his dropship alive to keep these Dragoons pinned back as well. So right now, Tyson can't even really afford to mine sweep and clear out the rest of the map and start to put the pressure back onto Rush. He's going to be looking to do more and more damage, but the Dragoons will shut this down pretty easily. I doubt too many probes will fall here, even to little bit of probe drilling to avoid much of those losses from occurring. So honestly, a pretty healthy economy here from Tyson. The third base was slightly delayed, but not by much, and Tyson did go for a tech-heavy build of that Arbiter lineup, so he still might have a fighting chance here against Rush.
Yeah, maybe he can make this work. I mean, it was a pretty decent hold. Getting rid of those vultures. It kind of a throwaway for Rush. Doesn't really need that drop anymore. It's nice to have it around and just keep it as a threat out on the map. Some schools of thought would say that it's way more useful than sending it in for just a couple of kills and getting what you can out of it early, but Rush decided to cash in on that early dropship. He's floated back his starport and he's setting up his third base nice and early. 8:50. This should not be allowed. We got 4 tanks holding onto these three bases, and he's going into a science facility here shortly, no doubt, trying to get that +2 timing. So he's really cutting a lot here and being very greedy, but he's getting away with it because there's such heavy tech coming from Tyson.
Yeah. I mean, he wouldn't even probably attempt this if he didn't get that full scout off. And he saw the gateway count. He saw how tech-heavy Tyson was being. He knew there wouldn't be a critical mass of Dragoons to easily bowl him over, or shuttles already out to drop Zealots on top of those siege tanks that are very exposed. It's a very flimsy setup from Rush, but it's more than enough to keep Tyson at bay with the current setup that Tyson's gone for. And the 5 factories have now just kicked in for Rush as well. So even though he looks pretty light on the tanks presently, he's going to wall this third off. He's going to pump out non-stop units from these 5 factories. And any follow-up attacks from Tyson will be met with a pretty stalwart defense here. It's better just for Tyson to take a 4th base, which he is.
Is going to be taking that 4th base. Just want to mention for this map, recall can be pretty tough to pull off. There's 3 bases in there. 3rd base is kind of defending the main here. There's a small sliver of open space just above the 3rd, which you could possibly slide a Arbiter past, but a lot of Terrans are going to be prepping for that. Now that he knows that it's Arbiter, and he's going to delay that eBay for a really long time. We are eventually going to see those turrets. Okay, no, he's actually got turrets already at that 3rd, excuse me. But he will be setting up turrets. You can see just above this position in the main base, right in that top corner. That'll be a big point of contention here if he actually wants to get an Arbiter in for a recall, and Rush will definitely be preparing for that.
Yeah, we've seen a lot on these maps where the natural 3rd is kind of surrounding your main base. It's so much easier to at least scout and have a chance at denying that recall from being too successful. We've seen some players have like 3 science vessels just around the perimeter, ready to EMP at a moment's notice. We could see something like that here from Rush today if he wants to play tech heavy, just go straight into +3 weapons, can just sit defensively with those science vessels. And after scouting the two base Arbiter initiation from Tyson, it's not a bad pick, honestly. Certainly a worthy build order choice from Rush if he wants to go for something like that. He could play a little bit more aggressive, try and take a fast 4th at the 12. It's certainly a natural progression from his current positioning. Wouldn't be too hard to get that well defended, but they'll spread himself a little bit thin against recalls. So sometimes I prefer the Terrans to sit on 3 bases with the EMP.
Yeah, and the 4th up at 12 o'clock would actually defend even better the main base. You kind of cut off that little patch of open terrain above the 3rd, but he's kind of set himself up with a wall on the 3rd to push down along the bottom of the map. It seems like he wants to go out that direction, but we'll see. We'll see if he wants to get a 4th here right away, or if he's going to take it behind to push after really banking up a ton of units, maybe maxing out first. You can see double upgrades ticking away here. He definitely doesn't want to take any sort of engagement before all of those upgrades really come into fruition here, before they actually start to finish up and the army comes into its full power.
Yeah, I like Tyson expanding rather than just going for a recall here. He's taking a 5th base at 3 o'clock, but honestly, he should take the bottom left rally point or the top right rally point. Like, he needs to establish a more later game plan He needs to, you know, have the potential of getting additional rally points set up so that there's more win conditions for him to work with. Because if Rush does play super defensively and Tyson has no real way of exploiting that with his, you know, his Arbiter tech, he's gonna be in a little bit of trouble the longer the game goes on. So he either wants to recall a mass of Zealots on top of tanks and try and break through break through with Rush that way. But Tyson would be better off just taking a rally point. Yeah, I like this choice from him, taking this top right base instead of just diving in with a recall and hoping for the best. You can see Rush already set up with a few vessels to start denying any possibility of those spells being utilized. He could also go for a mass stasis out on the map. It's something Best would do, is kind of bait the Terran into an awkward position, throw down a bunch of good stasises, and then just pull the trigger on a massive bowl over. And he might be waiting for Rush to take this 4th base, which it looks like he's eyeing up now.
Yeah, he's moving in that direction. Tanks here. Big line of them at the back. Oh, nice stasis there on the left-hand side, hitting the science vessel and a lot of tanks. A second stasis comes through. He's got more energy here. He could throw down another stasis on the back line of tanks. Oh, looks like those Zealots take a big hit from the mines as he tries to press forward. He may not be able to dive on the back line of tanks, but he'll definitely deny the 4th. Not a bad fight here from Tyson to start things off.
Right, it's kind of hard though to get value out of your stasises. I mean, they have very mid-range value, expected value. Like they don't have the kind of potential something like Sonic Storm does, but they'll get you at least consistent results. The problem is sometimes you'll stasis too close to the front line, and then the back line of tanks will just destroy you, and sometimes those ice cubes prevent your Zealots from finding good, or your Dragoons from finding good surface area to kill the back line of tanks. So generally speaking, you want to stasis as deep into the tank line as possible, but the EMP threat makes that difficult to execute. So usually you're forced to stasis the front line of tanks and kind of deal with a slightly cost inefficient trade just due to the EMP ability of the Terran. So just having this vessel existing is a very high value unit for Rush to utilize.
That's a lot of tanks pushing forward here. Rush has traded out a lot of his vultures in that last fight and replaced most of those with tanks. You can see this is a huge amount. About 24 tanks here, most likely, all told. Yeah. Some of those are still at the back line defending the 3rd base and what have you, but he's got a huge army here to work with, and Tyson is not ready to fight this head on. 12 o'clock has been taken. Rush is moving in that direction. He's getting into a defensive position. Tyson gonna rotate here, but he's in danger of having a situation where the map can easily get split in half for Rush. Need to put a bit of chaos into this and take a trade where he can get rid of some of these tanks. Here we go. Is this that trade? Just a D-Matrix there. No EMP for these Arbiters. They're going to get a lot of spells off. He doesn't get that second spell from the Arbiter on the left-hand side. Not a whole lot of units in those prisons just at the moment here. Ice cubes. Not quite warming up this drink enough. That is so much firepower in the back line, and everything gets shoved back here. He drops 50 supply in a matter of seconds, and Rush is still sitting at 180.
Yeah, this is like PvT 101 from Rush, but he needs to establish this 4th base. Tyson knows it. He's going to try and rotate around, circumnavigate the main battle force in the center of the board, see if he can get a counterattack going to deny this 4th from going up. It would be so great if he can. He's just now about to be mined out on his main and natural. Pretty much both players at this point. So if you can stop the Terran from having 2 bases worth of economy, that's definitely an initial win condition to work with. I much would have preferred if Tyson had got this rally point in the top right. He was initially trying to do that, and he's kind of given up hope of that. But if he did set up some gateways there and had some High Templars on the high ground, it would have been much easier to stop Rush from, you know, splitting the map horizontally. And now that might come back to haunt him, because Rush looks like he's got enough forces to push Tyson out from the northern hemisphere and get 2 additional bases at least set up in this top right quadrant, and that's going to be a massive win condition for Rush. And it looks like he's forcing more and more engagements. Beautiful EMP comes down on the Arbiter as well. As long as he engages and trades at a reasonable efficiency rating, Rush is looking better and better the longer this game goes on.
Arbiter flank manages to get a couple of tanks in the back line, but there were some juicier opportunities there on the left-hand side. Could have gotten like 5 tanks with 1 stasis, not able to break through that line, and Rush is going to continue to push forward, mining here on 3 bases right now. The main is pretty much mined out, but he can easily maintain full production here with no more upgrades to really be investing into, with that 3rd armor upgrade no doubt on the way. This tank army is huge, but Zealots are hitting from all sides. Can he bring enough forces here together to wipe out some of these tanks? He's getting a few kills at the periphery, but everything is melting, and Rush is just shoving forward through everything. 1 storm is just not quite gonna cut it, man. These storms are a little bit too late, and Tyson is falling apart.
Oh, absolutely. He should have invested in a few more high templars much sooner in this match, I feel. There's so many stasises that have gone down, but not enough units being killed in the aftermath of those ice cubes being thrown into the drink. And I don't know, man, like, this looks like the writing's on the wall for Tyson. I don't even think he's going to break out of this contain. He might be able to stop one of these bases from going down at this natural 3rd, for example. I'm not sure he's got enough forces to do that, you know. Kind of looking dire. This is the major win condition of Terrans. Contain the rally point and then start spitting off a few tanks here and there to hit some of these bases on the periphery. And even if he doesn't knock out these nexuses, he's definitely going to take out the majority of the workers at those bases and limit the economic prowess of Tyson no matter what. I feel like Tyson should have taken the base in the top right. It would have kept Rush's attention up there more. The rally point in the bottom left is good, but it's nowhere near as much of a threat to Rush, and feels like Rush was able to execute an easy win condition because of the constant stasis is providing little value.
Yeah, these stasis, not quite the difference maker for Tyson here. It really seems like Rush, he just had so much information, able to completely change the trajectory of his build to match what Tyson was doing, getting that really greedy 3rd, not defending hardly at all, not even building the bunker. Just after getting the drop in there, he had control of this game, and Tyson hasn't done anything really wild or crazy, just taking the fights, and it's exactly played into Rush's hands now, getting on top of these tanks. In the end, he will be able to clear out his side of the map, but he's still in so much trouble. A big recall could be hitting this 12 o'clock. No, he's not going to be able to. Wait. EMP's not ready. Not enough energy for that. Can he recall on top of this 3rd base? He is going to get that recall, but the SCVs have been pulled. Storms on the high ground, going to be doing quite a bit of damage, but he targets the Templar that still had a bit of storms left. And the rest of this army should be an easy cleanup. Just restoring this base in a moment's time. Rush is not going to miss a beat. Already at 190 supply, will be maxing out again here easily, and it's just looking dire for Tyson. Look at how few probes there are down in bottom left. He's got almost no income, and his army size is dwindling further and further behind.
Yeah, he's barely keeping up with the economy that Rush has right now, and you kind of have to be at least a whole base ahead of the Terran at all times, sometimes even more depending on what style you're going for. And being this reliant on arbiters, you need to kind of win the trades. It's no good just freezing all of his units if none of them die, especially the tanks that were unfrozen. So, I mean, I don't know. Like, this is not looking good for Tyson. It looks like the comeback is becoming less and less hopeful for him as this game progresses. Now, this was a Terran favored map, and I did kind of expect Rush to maybe take game number 1. I hope this doesn't set the tempo of the series too much here, and Tyson can actually start to figure out some kind of comeback potential. I didn't think this was going to be a 3-0. I do think that Tyson has the punching power to take out a player like Rush on a good day. We'll have to hope that Tyson's not too phased by this initial game, but it does look like he's about to be eliminated here.
Right, I mean, yeah, there's not a really good hope to come back in this game. Of course, he is going to hit this counterattack, maybe stall out some of the production in top right, stall out some of the mining in top right for a little bit. But Rush is completely maxed. Sending some vultures over here to clean this up is not going to hurt him much, and he's going to continue to move around the map, down in that bottom left, clear out bottom center, and that's really the last couple of mining bases for Tyson, who's at 94 supply, cannot remake these armies, and cannot challenge the mass of Terran mech rush, bearing down here and grinding towards this victory, still taking these little fights here. Of course, some zealots versus a small clutch of tanks, you are going to be able to take little wins like that, but the writing is on the wall here. He will tap out. Tyson gives up here in game number 1, going over to Rush, guys.
Yeah, I don't think that was a surprise at all, Sam. I think we all expected at least this first game going Rush's way. I also think that Rush will probably take the series, but I don't think it'll be a 3-0 clean sweep. I'm hoping Tyson doesn't prove me wrong here and just goes down without a fight. I do think at least in one of these games, he's going to have some knockout blows, and maybe Eclipse is just the map to get his mojo back on.
Yeah, this is the map I was talking about at the beginning of the cast, saying that it's a surprise that Rush didn't veto this map, although we did see that crazy game from Tyson in ASL on this map. Was that versus Light?
Versus Light, yeah, where Light just went along the bottom lane and completely circumnavigated any scouting of Tyson, and he somehow threw an unthrowable game. That was some wild stuff. I mean, definitely Tyson learned about taking dives from the boxing world there, because it was almost inexplicable how he managed to let Light get the better of him there. I'm obviously jokingly saying that, guys. I don't think he actually threw the game on purpose, but it was kind of wild how he managed to let Light win that game. Like, in all other circumstances, Protoss should have been winning that. So kind of wild stuff we saw.
Yeah, can you imagine paying Tyson to lose against Light? It's like...
No, that didn't happen. That didn't happen.
Why would you bother making that payment? Feels like like, yeah, that's kind of a silly situation, but you know, people will say things if we do say it like that. Tyson definitely played his heart out in the ASL. He just wasn't able to close versus Light from a really good position. So maybe that's why Rush not feeling too worried and not banning this map. We're going to jump on into Eclipse now, guys. Let's see if Tyson can redeem himself here. Rush spawning in the bottom left-hand corner. Tyson in the top right. Same exact positions as that ASL game, actually.
Yeah, it is. Let's going back to that a little bit. I think maybe the problem there for a lot of players, not just Tyson, yeah, offline is just a different kettle of fish. And the reality is, when you're in that high stress environment, you're probably like obsessing so much on your execution that, you know, something will slip through the fingers, whether that's scouting or your tech tree. Something's got to give. There's no way you're going to execute everything perfectly like you did at home in a high pressure situation that you're not quite comfortable with yet. You have to get a lot of tournaments under the belt before you're able to kind of be calm and collected enough to not, you know, let something slip through your mind. And I think that's the reality. Is like, it's impossible to get all your checks and balances and dot your I's and cross your T's when you're in that kind of stressful environment, and you're going to let something go in your play.
It makes sense. Again, hopefully this guy is sitting in that nice, cozy, at-home environment, ready to play his absolute best and not letting that first game get to him. He will steal the gas here and start to force Rush to play a bit more of his game. No proxy starport this game. You can almost be sure of that. With the gas steal, it's going to most likely be a gasless fast expand that Rush has to go for.
Right. I mean, he could technically build a second barracks out on the map and go hyper aggressive if he does assume a Nexus first, but it's actually quite uncommon for Terrans to go for some. Ooh, man's getting the bump bellies. Ooh, Tyson was wise to turn that probe back around and go into the main base, because Rush was definitely prepared to bump bellies with that probe and finish it off with that fusion cutter. It's a little bit harder to get the chase micro to work for Terran not just because of the worker acceleration and deceleration issue, but also because of its, you know, range 0 attack, unlike this particle beam. So definitely very masterful control there from Rush, almost killing the scouting probe right off the bat. And we'll be getting a quick scout off to identify this Nexus first.
I gotta say, that's very rare at all levels of play. The SCV killing the initial probe, and it's not like he was fighting either. He was trying to run away. He's still getting knocked down by the SCV, and so that's kind of a surprising situation. Rush gonna pull the boys all the way across the map here, sending about 7 SCVs to party. Zealot is going to be popping out here soon, but it's a 1 Rax play, and so he is going to be in a bit of trouble here. Goes ahead and
he can use the gas to drill. That's one thing I want to point out. He can use that gas steel to drill these probes out on top of the Marines whenever he needs to. So that's an advantage there for Tyson to maybe get some good surface area onto those Marines. Rush doing a great job, catches one of these probes, maybe a second if Tyson wasn't careful. So just a safety bunker that's going up to fall back to. Hasn't yet killed this building SCV, though does get maybe 1 Marine kill here with the probes, but doing a great job of body blocking that Zealot. Has kept one of these Marines alive for the time being, but ranged attack over the SCV does find the kill on that. No Marines left alive besides this rally one coming up now. He needs to desperately use these SCVs like linebackers. Gets the kill on the Zealot, but doesn't get the Marine into the bunker critically. Pretty good control on both sides.
Very good control on both sides. The surround there from Rush on the Zealot was insanely good, and the kill on the Marine as well. Very good control from both these players during this rush, and now there's a second Zealot out here. This first Zealot going to run over to the left-hand side. Second Zealot definitely going to be able to deny the SCVs from continuing to build this, at least for the time being. More SCVs coming forward here, starting to target these down. I think definitely Tyson's lost more workers thus far, but some of these are very low. He's actually going to get quite a few kills here. This is going pretty well. Another bunker has to be made. 3 bunkers is an insane amount of investment here, guys. This is so much investment from Rush, and so many SCVs have gone down as well. There's 1 more SCV here. If he targets that down, this rush is over, but he's not going to be able to get it, and so the bunker will finish. Dude, this is getting wild. There's just cybernetic score just started here, Xun. This is going to be really weird.
I think he's bringing more SCVs. He is committed to making this work. He wants to kill on this Nexus no matter what happens. This is insanity. Does body block his own Marines there a little bit, so Tyson manages to knock one of them down. But I mean, this is a wild rush we're seeing here from Rush. Pun unintended, but I don't know, man. Like, I don't even know if Tyson can stop this anymore. With the SCVs helping out in the DPS, you will eventually kill this Nexus. There is a pylon here, but it's not drawing any of the fire from this forward bunker at the moment. That's a beautiful body block from Rush as well, isolating those 2 Zealots from getting back to the safety of the ramp. Really high-level stuff we're seeing from our Terran player, and even microing on 2 fronts is Rush, moving the Marines into the safety of that supply depot. Wall set up in his main to prevent any additional losses from the counter pressure of Tyson. And with only this 1 single gateway set up, there's nothing really to stop Rush from going all the way. He's hoping for a probe drill on the ramp to seal the deal and save the day, but it's not going to be enough. Eventually, Rush is going to get on top of this Dragoon that's about to pop out. Oh, this is beautiful
the
from
Dragoon!
Rush. Look at that.
Oh my god, the Dragoon gets surrounded. You've got to be kidding me. All right, Tyson deserves to lose this game now. How do you lose that Dragoon? Guys, he was waiting for that for so long. That was his last hope here to save this game, and he lets the Dragoon die and gets completely surrounded. You've got to be kidding me. He's gonna lose here on Eclipse, and it's just gonna get worse from here, guys. That's for sure.
I mean, Tyson was bobbing and weaving a little bit initially, but then he got very flat-footed extremely quickly the longer this rush was executed. And yeah, I mean, he just got a little bit too greedy, I think, with the single gateway. We see this so many times from Protoss players. You know, you get a gas steal, you get a Nexus first, and it's just not good enough for them. They want to go 1 gate robo as well, and that's a matter of having your cake and eating it, saying, and I don't think that this was a wise choice from Tyson, to say the least, and rightfully so. Rush punishes it. He's going to hope that he can elevate some Dragoons out and do something, but now he's going to die because there's no units to defend. This is just such a well-executed attack from Rush. It's not so much that Tyson deserves to lose as much as Rush deserves to win. He doesn't care about losing these Marines necessarily. He just wants to cripple the economy of the Protoss enough that the game will continue on, and no matter what happens, Rush will always have an advantage now. He's got his second base already mining and operational, whereas Tyson lost his Nexus and a few additional probes, so the potential of coming back and catching up in this game is slim to none for Tyson. He has to gamble on massive Reaver damage with his counterattack to have any hopes of defeating Rush now.
Well, let's see. Yeah, that counterattack, I mean, it could do something. So much was lost by Rush to get this Nexus kill. And the probe count's still not that bad. You can see he's barely trailing in overall supply. And there's only one tank, one vulture, a bunker. Okay, that's the cincher right there. He's got the Wraith here as well. That's really going to be difficult for Tyson to deal with. If he starts to load up and drop into the main and then get the Dragoons up there on the high ground, maybe there's a shot here, but if he tries to bust the front, the Wraith is most likely just going to deal that damage. He's going after the bunker here. Takes one shot on the Dragoon with that tank. 2 tanks out now. 3 vultures. Oh, he's got speed. Speed finishes off just in the nick of time. He's going for a big shot here. Can he get a huge hit? One shot goes down, but he loses the Reaver in the shuttle. No, the pickup. The pickup, no.
Oh, not like this. He so desperately needed like 2 critical Scarab connections, killing a total of, at least 8 or 10 SCVs just to be okay. Not even to be favored, just literally to not be just outright in trouble. And he didn't find it. And now there's a massive counterattack coming his way. I mean, there is just no hope for Tyson to stop this. He has got the tech necessary to do so. He's got the shuttle speed, but he has no shuttle. He has no Reaver. He can't slow this push down. He might have a Reaver that's just now popping out, but there's no shuttle to escort it. It's going to be slugging it out down to the natural, like in a PvP game. It's basically dead in the water.
Well, I mean, maybe there was a shot had he started lifting Dragoons into the main base. Have all the Dragoons come up into the main. He's actually going to kill a tank here, and he might even kill a second tank with this Reaver shot. Yeah, it looks like he's going to get both of those tanks. The third one probably not going to die here as everything gets targeted onto that Dragoon. It will survive. No, it actually does go down. Wow, he actually gets that tank. He is going to live for a little bit longer. Mine's getting thrown down here at the natural. He's going to start to kill some probes as well. No observer here critically, and a tank is coming up. Rush will, I mean, he should win this game from here. But, I mean, this has been already kind of a crazy game, guys. Like, the initial attack was wild. It's crazy that Rush managed to make it work. And the dive from Tyson to just go for probes there, going for broke in the main, and just trying to get as much damage was a pretty insane follow-up. And now we're here in is still an equally wild position. This Nexus might actually live. That's crazy, Xun. This Nexus is going to stay alive.
If the Reaver connects to the tank now, the Vulture was blocking it, but it does manage to find connection. I mean, look at this magic from Tyson. If only he could play like this when he's in an okay position. I mean, this is kind of the nature of StarCraft. Like, when you're behind, it forces you to play with a sense of urgency, and you kind of, like, go into, like, ultra instinct mode and make craziness happen. But the reality is he needs to play more like this when he's not behind already. Like, where was this magic earlier? Like, this is so unfortunate for Tyson, man.
Yeah, Tyson, he just missed out on a couple of things while that rush was going on initially, not having that cybernetics core until very late, just making a few zealots, and that slow bunker push going forward eventually managed to kill that Nexus, and now he's in such a difficult position here. One mine in that natural, that could actually be one of the most deadly mines if a Dragoon happens to walk over there.
Detonate that mine and kill his own probes. Saying sorry for talking over you, buddy, but I was just gonna say, see, the Shuttle would definitely kill his own probes there and act like it was an accident, just to troll and entertain the streams. But just so you know, guys, I'm not joking. I genuinely think that Shuttle is a master troll that throws games on purpose for views.
Definitely has some experience throwing games, that's for sure. A long, storied history of that type of play, but whether it's intentional or not, I can't say for sure. Getting some of his economy back online here, but a drop might throw a wrench into the works. 3 vultures here are really going to start to deal a lot of damage, and unlike our previous game, Tyson does not have the Sim City to block this out easily, and so he does lose some workers, and the dropship manages to evacuate those vultures. So a highly successful drop here from Rush, adding insult to injury and keeping him in a very good lead.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's any hope of a comeback here from Tyson. But I mean, I like the fighting chance. I like that he's actually trying to make a game out of it. I just wish I saw this tenacity from him from more neutral positions. I said it before, like, StarCraft is a game which demands urgency, and it does seem to be the case where a lot of players struggle to play at a high caliber when they're not knowingly behind and trying to pull out all the stops. Does manage to intercept this dropship, takes it out. It's a little bit difficult for these vultures to get too much worker damage. The 2 slugged out Reavers are natural, though, are unable to slow down this main Terran advancement across the middle of the board. So when all said and done, the Terran is going to easily contain the Protoss, and these Reavers are able to be maneuvered against this force. You have to think that Rush is about to checkmate Tyson, saying.
Yeah, the Reavers are blocking the Dragoons from running forward as well. This is a really good, well-executed attack from Rush. Going in for that drop there. Yeah, the observer is freaking out because he was about to step on that mine and completely wipe out his entire mineral line, but that doesn't come to pass, nor is it going to matter here in this game. Tyson falling way too far behind. Valiant effort by him, but he is now down 0-2. It's a rough spot here for a Protoss player.
Oh, it's a really rough spot, saying. I feel like there should be a new saying, by the way. There's the classic Flash would have won. We should now have the, like, Shuttle would have stepped on the mine kind of meme. Yeah, like it does seem like he knows the game so well that only he can throw in that fashion. If you watch some of the Jin videos, for example, I think the most recent one, he had like 5 probes just slightly off screen. And the thing is that it's possible for that to happen to a player, but Shuttle was also a high enough caliber player to know that that's how his screen location works, and he could deliberately misrally his Nexus and pretend to not notice these things, or pretend that he didn't see the mine get laid there and then walk over to the mine and blow up his own probes. And that's why I think he's a master tier troll. I think he's so good he's bad. And he understands that, StarCraft is not always a game about winning. It's a game about entertaining. We live in a streamer world now. The whole dynamic of society has shifted. Gone are the days where players only care about the glory and the victory in these tournaments. Someone like Shuttle, he's a great player that understands I'm probably not going to win another ASL, but hey, I can be an entertaining guy along the way.
All right, Xun, take off your tinfoil hat. We're starting game number 3. Or jumping into it. We've got Rush's map pick here for game number 3, Radion, with close positions, horizontal spawns here. Rush in top right, Tyson in top left.
Hey, Saiyan, tinfoil is in now. I think I would look pretty fancy with a little bit of metal on my head, especially reflecting this beaming sunlight, especially if you're a climate change kind of guy. The planet's heating up, and so is our fashion sense.
Conspiracy theorist is just somebody who knows, or somebody who's just ahead of the curve. Is that what you're saying, Xun?
Yeah, I'm saying, conspiracy theorist initially, but it ends up turning out to be true the longer time goes by. Well, I'm not going to go too much into that. I'm not nearly as much of a theorist as some of these other guys that are completely wacky and out there, but it is what it is.
I feel a Reddit post in your future is in order, Xun.
I'll stay away from Reddit, thanks.
People need to know your theories about Shuttle. He is truly entertaining. I mean, there's so many Jinjin videos.
Yeah.
So many great
people in the comments
Jinjin.
actually agree with that.
Jinjin 5000 makes a lot of great videos, guys. Definitely check that out. Made a lot of recent videos about Shuttle because of his antics in the Pro League. I can't imagine him throwing those games. The amount of money on the table in some of those events is crazy. And so getting just giving that up is pretty wild to imagine.
But what I want you to think about is the drama of it all gets more eyeballs on the event, which means more money in the pot. Yeah. So in a way, the entertainment value is what keeps the pot that high in the first place. And why else would he be smirking and hiding his smile every time he does it if it wasn't a troll? You notice that every time he's like trying to cover his mouth and look down and away from the camera when he loses like that. And sometimes you can still see that boyish grin during it. So I mean, I hate to say it, but I think I'm onto something.
Well, whether or not you're onto something, it's neither here nor there. Tyson here is going to be opening up and playing a little bit more of a conservative build, getting a second gateway here. We got Rush going for a gasless fast expand. Going to be adding on that gas after the CC, and so won't really be able to put on much pressure to this early expansion from Tyson. And so just looking for a little bit of a probe push. Try to get the probe to run away. Oh, he's gonna build this one. This is a big fake from Rush. Nothing is gonna come with this. But he wants to get a little bit of lost mining time here to get a little compensation going.
But I do like from Tyson, he didn't lose too much mining time there, and he did pull back the probes one at a time as they shake their shields off. So I would say it's pretty medium, and he's not gonna get a follow-up probe kill with the SCV and Marine combo pressure. So I think that's pretty even from both sides. I think that's slightly Rush favorite, but not a lot. You know, like that's very negligible, I would say. But it had the potential for causing more of a lost mining time for Tyson in the grand scheme of things. So I like the attempt there. Tyson almost actually got that SCV kill, by the way. 5 HP left on that worker and did lose his scouting probe. So now this is definitely starting to tilt more and more towards our Terran player in terms of favorability.
It's funny that you use the word tilt because I feel like Tyson is a little tilted right now.
Probably.
Had that Zealot could have flanked the Marine and SCV, gotten the kill on the SCV for sure. It was one hit away. It was 5 HP. Could have certainly killed that. And then with the probe coming back across the map, all he needed was to one-tap that SCV, and he failed in getting that. And then lost the probe as well. He has got to be feeling a little bit sad at this point. Rush is just getting one over on him in the early game over and over again, and he's finding himself in bad positions. Now, this isn't the worst position, not even the worst position that he's been in this series. And so there's still a lot of play here, but he's got to be feeling it right now.
You know, I agree with you, and even if I am potentially right about the shuttle shenanigans, I think I'm completely wrong about this not being a 3-0. I think we might actually be having that clean sweep. I mean, it's hard to call it right now, but just the way the early game has shaped up, the fact that Tyson does look a little bit off kilter with his execution, I don't know, man. Like, this could be a 3-0 from Rush here. Despite the close spawns, I don't think it'll necessarily mean that Tyson's going to die right at the start of the game to a crazy like 5-7 tank timing push or something, but I do think this game is not shaping up too well for him. If he can't play with the same kind of tenacity as he did towards the end of that Eclipse game, I don't think there's going to be much hope for him. He's got the 2-gate Robo Observer. It's pretty safe, pretty like it's kind of about as greedy as you can be without being too, you know, unsafe about it. 3-gate observer is the safest cookie cutter way of playing, so 2-gate observer is kind of the next rung down where you're kind of being safe, but you're taking a little bit of liberties to try and get ahead on tech with a slightly crisper reaver timing and what have you. So, I mean, this is okay for Tyson, especially if he gets this third base built around about the 7-minute mark. So, I mean, with all things said and done, this isn't shaping up to be a worse case scenario for Tyson by any stretch of the imagination, but I still kind of feel like I was wrong about the 3-0 clean sweep. I think we might be seeing that.
Something has to go right for Tyson, finally, in this series. Something has to happen. You know, things could happen very quickly in this matchup. Reaver manages to get a really sick shot on some SCVs, or a mine drags into a clump of tanks. Something has to go right for him to give him a bit of that momentum so he can start to build on top of that and find his way into a win here, because Rush just seems way too solid. Through all these games, his pushes have been really, really good, and the way that he splits his army has been fantastic. And so if we get to a late game again, I can't imagine Tyson taking him on. I know that he's a fantastic player. I know that he's extremely strong on the ladder, and he's been developing in his play by leaps and bounds in the last years. But Rush is just such a solid contender. He's a round of 4 ASL player, round of 8 bare minimum, I think, in today's day and age. And so having him go out here would be really, really crazy. But I believe Tyson can take one game. Come on, Tyson. Something's got to go right for him here.
I mean, I do hope I'm right that it won't be a 3-0, but I'm starting to think that I'm wrong about that. I almost hope that I'm wrong about being wrong now, because I do want to see more games from these two guys. It's going to be a quick 6-fact follow-up from Rush. He knows there's a Reaver on board for Tyson, so going for something like a 7-tank push to put pressure on, probably not going to be the best plan of action here. So just to sit back and macro up, definitely a wise choice. Get a slightly stronger round of units out, you know, get up to 4 Goliaths maybe, and then start to think about pushing out would be a bit of a wiser decision here from him. Probably more like to be a 11 tank or 9 tank push. He wants to scan. He's only got 3 Goliaths here, but he thinks that's enough. I don't necessarily disagree with him. This is still a reasonable choice. It's definitely better than the other options. And yeah, the goons are out of position. Kills 2 of them for free. I mean, there definitely seems to be a little bit of shakiness in the execution here from Tyson. It's almost like because Rush is slightly ahead of schedule and didn't wait for like 4 Goliaths to 9 tanks, and he went with 3 Goliaths and 8 tanks, that Tyson was just not quite expecting that timing and got caught with his pants down because of the few extra seconds shaved off the usual window. And sometimes that can be a good thing to do in StarCraft, where you don't play as your opponent would expect.
Look at the speed of this push forward, by the way. Rush is just making so much distance so quickly. And generally with a Protoss player having 2 Reavers, you're going to be able to slow this stuff down by a lot. You can also take little trades with the Dragoons, killing off... Oh my gosh, he loses the Reaver as well. Oh, dude, this is getting bad. This is getting worse and worse. Rush slowly pushing in here now. He's made up most of that distance. He's got the mines on the flank, and so he doesn't have to worry about that big flank coming through. In fact, Tyson is all the way back here in his natural. He's desperately trying to get out a few zealots with some speed, and he's got 2 shuttles to work with, so he can take this fight. Oh, and a Dragoon stuck here. No way. Dude, Tyson is having a horrible time. This is a Protoss player's worst nightmare, what we're seeing right now. Tyson's going to wake up sweating, thinking about this later.
Pretty much saying, I mean, yeah, this is not ideal. I was right about being wrong, and I don't like to see it. I kind of wanted to see a longer series between these guys, and I don't think we're going to be seeing that, saying. I feel like the writing is on the wall for our Protoss play. He's going to drive a massive contain wedge between this natural and third, go for a kill move on the Nexus at the third base, force Tyson to engage head on, and that will not be a favorable trade. Doesn't get it's a bit of a zealot bondage going down. That's a massive mine drag on top of that tank. That's a big misplay from Rush not to kill his own mine in that situation. Suddenly a tiny window of opportunity for Tyson to maybe break out. Gets a massive reverse guard connection on that clump of 3 tanks as well. Does find the second one. So now 3 more tanks have died, but there's not enough meat on the bone to work with, and easily Rush chewing through the remainder of the infantry force of those Dragoons. Some speed zealots now making their way downtown to that natural third location to try and deal it, but it's not going to be enough, and we are going to be seeing that 3-0 clean sweep. Saying, I mean, I wish I wasn't wrong. I mean, I wish I was wrong about that. Like, I really wanted to see a longer series between these two guys, but it seems like Rush had Tyson's number, and Tyson tilted a little bit after losing on Eclipse.
Yeah. Unfortunate. So many things went right at that final fight, but because of all the setbacks earlier on, it just wasn't enough. I really liked the mind drag and the reaver control there during that last fight, but coming through that choke, it's just a nightmare. Letting the Terran player get into that position is how you lose games, as the Protoss filtering through that tiny entrance, that natural choke. Absolutely crushed him there, and Tyson goes down 0-3. Guys, it's over already. What just another crazy quick series in the round of 16. It's been back to back to back over and over and over again. These super quick series just don't seem to end.
Yeah, it's just been tops dominating bottoms the entire time, saying, and we did predict every single series going this way in terms of who was winning. If Bishop defeats Saxury in the next episode, guys, I think surely that one will be a closer series. The random might create some chaos and shenanigans that allows him to win 3-0, but I don't necessarily think so. Surely not. Surely Saxury will fight back a little bit. He's certainly not, a high echelon Zerg, but he's one of the strongest up and coming Zergs of the last few years. He's a very solid macro player, and his early game defense is okay. So I feel like he should be able to deal with Bishop. The only problem is the rock, paper, scissory nature of fighting against random. There's no easy choice there. You can go 12 pool. It's kind of good against all 3 matchups, but you're not feeling too happy about the 12 pool versus Protoss, for example. There's no cookie cutter option. If it was the other way around and Saxury was the random player and Bishop was still playing Terran, you can just go bunker expand every single game, and that's a build order that's cookie cutter and works against all 3 races. Saxury won't have that luxury, so he might have to hedge his bets with some over pools and some 9 pools and that kind of thing, or take some gambles with some 11 hatches. But the reality is it won't be easy for Saxury to navigate that, and whoever does win will be going off to face against Rush. And we have got some really great series in the round of 8 to look forward to, though. It's going to be best of 7, so longer series regardless. Snow versus Royal, then Action versus Hero, Best versus Barracks, and Rush against either Bishop or Saxury, just taking a look at that now. So we got a lot to look forward to here, despite the round of 16 being a bit of a one-sided showing.
I'm going to have to ask you to stop caster cursing these series, Xun. They're a close one, huh? All right. Well, I'm going to predict a 3-0 for Saxury, and that should cancel it out, all right? That's going to cancel out the bad mojo from you just constantly saying these are going to be close.
It's wishful thinking from me saying I just want to see a longer series. But it is what it is. I mean, at the end of the day, I do feel like sometimes these events tend to be more one-sided than they should be, just because one player, he's practiced slightly harder, or he's figured out the other guy's style a little bit too much. So it's very rare to actually have back and forth series, especially in the best of 5 format. I think in the best of 7, especially with only the strongest players of that bracket remaining, it's going to be much more less one-sided. But it is possible that Bishop versus Saxury is a 3-0 sweep there. I'm helping you out. I'm also agreeing that it might be a 3-0 to then, mitigate the curse disaster.
Yeah, just one more day left for the round of 16, guys. Then we're going to get into those awesome matches in the round of 8. Longer days with that best of 7, and hopefully some really close series, guys. Thank you so much for joining us here at the SCSL Season 4. Make sure to support this amazing tournament through the links down below, through the Patreon page. We really appreciate you guys, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Thanks, guys.